Are we all in,
We're
Governor?
all ready to run.
Looks that way. Hey, folks, how you doing? I'm Tom DeChese, Hudson County Executive, and it is my job to welcome you here today and to welcome the Governor and some other people that you'll be hearing about, and do it in under 45 seconds. Here. You know, before my life as the county executive, I was a school teacher, 25 years in public schools in Jersey City. And this is the worst day of the year for a school teacher. Parents are smiling, and teachers have been dreading this for a couple of weeks right now. But they'll get to it, and they're wondering when Columbus Day is. But we here in Hudson County are lucky because we understand the importance of education, and we have leaders that take us in that direction. If the number one job of public officials is to keep their constituents safe, then I would say the number two job would be to educate them and give them the training and education they need that they can succeed in our new society here. And with a governor who understands that, and a mayor here in Union City, Mayor and Senator Brian Stack, we understand that, and we work together. And this school and the rocket ship of a high school that's almost right around the corner, if you haven't seen that, you ought to see that, are products of that. So without any further ado, I think I got my 45 seconds. The person who runs the show up here in this particular school is the principal, Adriana Byrne. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you so much, and I have 2.5 minutes because I hosted the event, so here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back, Union City. Governor Phil Murphy, Commissioner of Education Dr. Lamont Repollet, Mayor and Senator Brian P. Stack, County Executive DeGees, Senator Ruiz, City Commissioners, Superintendent Sylvia Botto, Union City board members, and JA representatives, our extended family from the representatives from the legislation, Celia and Cynthia Rice, good friends, thank you so much for being here, and they're advocates for children of New Jersey. My name is Adriana Byrne. I am the proud director, principal of the Early Childhood Program for the Union City School District and of the Eugenia Maria de Hostos Center for Early Childhood Education. I have been part of the Early Childhood Program in Union City since inception. As a longtime educator of young children, I have had the honor of participating in various panels and committees around the state and even in Washington, D.C. My goal is to educate others about the quality of preschool education we have here in Union City, with the hope that these programs can grow and thrive elsewhere. Thanks to the investment the state has made in Union City's youngest learners, Union City's Early Childhood Education Program has become a nationally recognized preschool program. Our success has led us to be featured by many media, including the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, as well as 2 books by noted education researcher David Kerp from the University of California. The Union City School District is recognized as a high-achieving urban district. And as a result of the significant investment and focus that we have made in ensuring high-quality early education for our students, the Early Childhood Program has made significant impact for our students by planting the seed of excellence. Since its inception of 1998, our Early Childhood Program has grown from the serving of total of 399 students to now over 1,800 plus students, 3- and 4-year-olds, and yearly, our enrollment for the universe is always met. We also have a contract with 34 community providers. We house preschool education in 6 of our elementary schools. Today, we thank all of the individuals that have made this wonderful preschool education initiative possible and continue to ensure that early learning is a priority for our schools. And this program has given thousands of our young children the jumpstart for future academic success. We are very proud of our exceptional school district and grateful to our Mayor and Senator Brian P. Stack for making quality education a priority in Union City. Many of our students are economically disadvantaged and second language learners. However, in spite of these challenges, our students excel in our schools. and these children leave kindergarten reading and writing. We all believe that children are active learners. They learn naturally through the daily experiences, learn actively through interesting encounters, and learn effectively through play activities. The challenges ahead for us in early childhood education are to provide an open and enabling environment to facilitate children to take an active role in learning, to enjoy the freedom of exploring and the fun of sharing, and thus laying the foundation to learn through meaningful play. These amazing opportunities for young learners should be provided to students all over the state, and thanks to the leadership of our governor, that is now happening. Education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world. Wise words spoken, but even more specifically, early learning education is far greater tool for academic success. Studies have shown that a child's earliest years of development are the most critical. Research shows that a strong leader foundation provided for children in early childhood education programs last a lifetime. Early years are truly learning years, so let's make them count. So it is my pleasure to introduce to you our esteemed governor and biggest supporter of early childhood education for New Jersey's youngest population, Governor Phil Murphy.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone, and happy first day of school. Thank you, Adriana, for your introduction, which was incredibly gracious, and your passion and your comments about the impact and importance of early childhood education. And thank you for welcoming us with you and your team so graciously to the Eugenia Maria de Hostas Center for Early Childhood Education. We just spent a few minutes with some of your newest students on their very first day of school, and I have to say the future looks bright. In particular, the mayor and commissioner and I, and then we're later joined by Senator Ruiz, we were particularly taken by the extremely passionate reading of Chicka Chicka Boom Boom, a book that I said to Brian, and I think he agreed, could be well spent being read down in Trenton, so I'd like to do that at some point. I also want to thank an incredible group of educators who hosted us, beginning with Kathy Presti Filippo and her team for generously welcoming us into her classroom today. And I'd like to say to Ms. Presti Filippo and all the teachers that are starting school today or in the coming days, thank you for all you do every day to prepare our students for a lifetime of curiosity and academic excellence. There's lots of important people in this room. At the top of the list are the educators. We've got, by the way, a kind of a cool thing. We've got both AFT, Donna's in the house, as well as NJEA. To each and every one of you, we take our hats off to you. I'd like to acknowledge again, and Tom went a ways toward this, the folks up here with me, in addition to Adriana, Commissioner of Education, Dr. Lamont Repollet. Always an honor to be with you. To his left, someone I'm going to talk about a little bit later, Senator Teresa Ruiz. Senator. And the man to my right, Senator and America's Mayor, Brian Stack. And I could say something about a whole lot of folks here. I want to give another shout out to the county executive, one of the very, very best, Tom DeGees, Assemblyman, Assemblyman Raj Mukherjee is in the house. Raj, thank you for being here, buddy. The superintendent is here, Board of Ed, commissioners, the guy who runs early childhood education for us, Carrie Booker is in the house. To the educators, staff, and the superintendent, thank you, each and every one of you, for being with us today. Today, our administration is proud, this is hot off the press, proudly announcing the 28 new school districts will receive $20 million in preschool expansion aid. These school districts are located all across New Jersey, from Stillwater to Seaside Heights to Burlington, but I'm especially pleased to be making this announcement here in Union City, where tremendous work has been done to enhance the school district's preschool programs. Union City has taken a multifaceted, comprehensive approach to ensuring high-quality preschool by working with dozens of different community provider programs, including, importantly, Head Start. These combined efforts create a strong network of support for Union City families and have made Union City, as Adriana alluded to, a model for other communities, not just statewide, but nationwide. The National Forum on Early Childhood Policy and Programs has estimated that for every $1 that we invest in a child at the very beginning of their educational life, we recoup up to $9 in overall return as they grow up. Every single dollar we invest in pre-K helps make New Jersey a more affordable place for our diverse middle class and working families like those right here in Union City to raise their families. We know that increasing the general knowledge and vocabulary of a child before they enter the first grade is the single highest correlate with later success. But we can't wait until kindergarten to address the deficiencies with which many children arrive. Investing in pre-K is how we keep New Jersey a national leader in education. It starts here in Union City by building stronger foundations for lifelong learning. And it requires caring and focused state leadership to make sure our children are afforded every educational opportunity possible. I know this is a mission that we share with our state legislature. The two folks up here, and Brian, of course, is double-hatted as a mayor and state senator, and I want to give a shout-out to Senator Ruiz, whose strong support and advocacy as chairwoman for early childhood education has been a constant reminder of how important this initiative is. To each of you, thank you for everything you do. Every first day of school is marked with a sense of promise and a feeling of optimism. And today I am feeling especially optimistic about our children's future. It is now my great pleasure to introduce my partner in ensuring a bright start for all New Jersey's school children. People asked me when we got our act together, I quoted the boss when the big man joined the band. Please help me welcome our Commissioner of Education, Dr. Lamont Repollet.
Good morning, everyone, and to my educators, happy new school year. Oh, I'm sorry, you guys can do, educators can do better than that. Happy new school year, guys.
Yeah. Oh, baby.
Thank you. Our kids deserve that. It is my honor to be here with Governor Murphy, Senator Stack, Senator Ruiz, County Exec DeGise, Assistant Commissioner Carrie Booker, Superintendent Abato, and a Principal Byrne, the hostess staff, parents, educators, and children to announce our administration's plan to fund high-quality preschools in 28 additional school districts, including one here in Hudson County and Kearney. I can think of no better place to make this announcement than in Union City, a district with a rich history of providing high-quality preschool programs to 3- and 4-year-olds. We hope that today's announcement in this district here will serve as a guide for other districts for the great work that you guys have been doing here. So people ask me all the time, the work I did in Asbury Park with the pre-K, I modeled after Union City's pre-K program. So thank you. It is my honor and pleasure to be here. The 28 additional school districts that plan to implement or improve their early childhood programs mean approximately 1,450 children will attend a quality preschool in October. Let me repeat that. 1,450 new students will attend a preschool, a high-quality preschool, October 1st. So give the round of applause to Governor Murphy, the legislators, and the staff. Governor Murphy often states high-quality preschool is one of the best investments we can make to prepare young children for future success. Well, research also tells us that by age 5, even before starting a formal K-12 education, 90% of a child's brain has already been developed. So getting them early is the best recipe for a student's success. We recognize the opportunity and importance of these pivotal early years, and we're excited to continue funding quality early childhood education program to more and more schools throughout the state of New Jersey. Our fiscal budget 2020 included $20 million for preschool expansion, marking the third consecutive school year that districts have been added to provide funding for the state. We know that a stronger and fair New Jersey includes a stronger educational foundation where all children can thrive and where they can have access to opportunities very early on in life. At the Department of Education, we call this, Governor Murphy, equity in action. So thank you for your commitment to investments in education.
Thank you, Thank you, Lamont, and thank you for all of your great leadership. There's a phrase, good governing is good politics. And there's no better model of governing the ability to fly 1 inch from the ground just as easily standing up 10,000 feet and seeing the big picture than our next speaker. As I mentioned, he double hats as both a state senator as well as the mayor of this great community. Please help me welcome the one and only Brian Stack.
Thank you, Governor. And thank you, Governor, for being committed, the most committed governor I've seen in my time to education. Thank you for being here. Special thank you to Tom DeGise for being with us this morning. Also, my Assembly running mates, Annette Chaparro and Raj Mukherjee, thank you for being here. My colleague in the Senate, Senator Teresa Ruiz, our Commissioner of Education, thank you for being here. But a special thank you to all the educators, all the teachers, the support staff in Union City for really making this district what it is. In this building, and I always tell Adriana, she does a tremendous job here, and our superintendent of schools, Sylvia Botto, our assistant superintendents that are here today, John Benetti and Jerry Perez, and a great job they do day in and day out. And you can see the difference with children that go through the early childhood program, our preschool system in Union City, to when they get into the higher grades. And my hat goes off to them. I can't say enough good things. I'm lucky to be the mayor of Union City with great educators in Union City, our principals, our teachers, right down to the lunch people that serve the lunches in our school system. Everyone has such a profound effect on our children's lives. And thank you, thank you, thank you for all that you do every day, and especially the people in this building. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you for your leadership. And we're here for a reason. It's because nobody does this like Union City. I'm staring at Annette here for the past 20 minutes, and I realize I didn't acknowledge you. I feel like a complete schmuck, so I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm thinking to myself, it's so good that Annette was able to make it. Of course, I didn't tell any of you that, but I was thinking that. And Craig Guy is here. Now that we're talking about big men joining the band, Craig, good to see you, man. Law enforcement, the chief is here, so I also want to give them a shout out. Last but not least, that phrase, it takes a village. No matter how good an idea you might have in government, you need partners. You need mayors, you need principals, educators, superintendents, legislators. You need an administration. And we find overwhelmingly, more often than not, far more often than not, common ground with our legislative leaders. And there's no one who keeps us more honest. There's no one who is more steeped in what it takes to have the nation's number 1 or 2 education system in the country, of which we're extraordinarily proud, beginning with pre-K. Please help me welcome Chairwoman and Senator Teresa Ruiz.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you to the Hudson County Executive for allowing me to cross geographic lines from Essex. Thank you to my Assembly colleagues that are here, to one of the hardest working state senators, and I can attest to this, and not that the residents of Union City need to hear this, but he sits next to me in caucus, and I think I've spoken to him a half hour because he's always on 2 cell phones trying to work on behalf of the residents, but he's my friend, and that's your state senator and Mayor Brian Stack. Thank you for the invitation. To Commissioner Repollet, who is a partner, who takes my phone calls at any point in time, who listens when I'm screaming and when I'm supporting and when I'm being passionate. And to the governor, who's recognized early on how critically important it is to make these investments. People oftentimes want to get caught up in budget and call them an expenditure. And the truth of the matter is, and you've heard this time and again, for every dollar you invest in early childhood, the returns can exceed up to $13. And that's twofold. That's because the income of the growth of that success of that child grows exponentially, and the remediation in the academic field shrinks. And so you see this cost factor, that you see the savings, and you see a growth on the potential of the child. When I had a hearing on the consideration of universal preschool, and now I'm a little worried here, because I'm going to say this for the record. I said, I think I'll retire when New Jersey finally gets universal preschool, and we're getting there much faster than I thought we would. But no, we're all good. We held, it was at least a 5-hour hearing. It was about 5 or 6 years ago. I see Sam Crane from Pre-K our way. And it was amazing to see the support from all walks of life. We had the Sheriff's Group of America that came in to endorse early childhood programs, because they recognized the earlier we wrapped ourselves around making investments in our children, that the least we would have to pay later in outcomes for negative experiences. We had a kindergarten teacher who came in and showed an assessment that she does the first day of school. And on one side, we saw photographs of children who had been exposed to highly qualified preschool programs. And on the other side, maybe the first time that a student was holding a pencil. And the trajectory on page was extraordinary, how different it was. And what does that do? It adds added pressure to the teacher that instead of moving the classroom forward, she has to figure out how to create that natural balance to move those that are advanced, to help those that need the support, and then to figure out how to move the entire classroom forward. It is not rocket science. I've had presentations from a neuroscientist that explains that an infant's brain is like malleable plastic. And if you just think about that imagery, and if you knead it and you support it and you stretch it and you encourage it and you add more and you add more and you add more, it grows, it grows, and it grows. I tell you this because my first job out of college, I was a preschool teacher. That's when I recognized that the most important career that anyone can commit themselves to is teaching. And that's when I decided I would only do it for a year because it was not for me. But what I also learned in that classroom was that's very important to the academic field. If you know you love it, you stay, and if you know that you don't, then we have to support you and find another pathway. But 4-year-olds were open and receptive to learning absolutely anything. And it was my shortcomings. If I could have taught them Mandarin Chinese, they would have picked it up. We had lessons that I would plan around the alphabet. And I remember teaching them about the letter P, and we talked about panda and geography, and then we talked about Picasso. And if you know, he has this painting Guernica where everything is kind of like in shambles and there's like a cow and they did their own Picasso images. I remember running into one of my preschool students when they graduated 8th grade. I'm only 30 still, by the way. But when they graduated 8th grade, and they remembered that lesson. It is critical for us to understand that it's not an expenditure, and I am grateful for this administration for recognizing that it's truly an investment. And not solely did we do great things this year in the budget with expanding, we've also allocated $5 million to support current programs that exist to be sure that while we expand, it's not at the expense of current programs, and I am grateful for that as well. But today is overwhelming for me, and I'll tell you why, because I dropped off my daughter. And she was amazing, and I was a mess. And we walked into the, I did the poster, we did the whole thing. I'm packing her lunch, and I keep talking to her, and she's looking at me like, you're acting crazy. And I walked into the classroom, and I said to her, are you okay? And I'm hugging her, and she said, I have to get back to the mat. Like, can you get out of here already? And so while this has been a lifelong passion for me, when I wasn't a biological mother, because I recognize that you have one chance in this country, and that is to get access to equitable quality education, and that can change your life forever. That now I'm even more committed. If you thought I was crazy before, watch out, that I'm even more committed because I'm going to see that fundamental growth happen in her every single day. To all of the teachers who are in here, thank you for inviting us into a phenomenal classroom. Thank you for the work that you do. To the paraprofessionals, to the lunch individuals, to the caretakers of the buildings, to everyone here, to our deputy commissioner who we're leading a new division that I hope branches out into a department. That was my pitch there. Did it stick? No, maybe not. And again, to Governor Murphy for recognizing that we are a state that works. We have families that look entirely different, that making investments in early childhood is without a doubt creates academic success, but the truth of the matter is that it empowers families to not make decisions based on fiscal matters. That if there's a single head of household that works, that she can keep her job and send her child to a qualified early learning center and not have to leave them at home with a grandmother or somewhere else where the development wouldn't be as quickly as possible. So for that, I am forever grateful, and this is a great day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, That was awesome. That was awesome. We'll take a couple of questions. Before we do, I just want to say that Brian had said the same thing you had just said, Teresa, which is you could see it. I think you said in 4th grade. You could see it probably even sooner than that. The kids who have started earlier are just in a different place than those who started later. It sounds simple. It is simple. We just got to make sure we don't ever lose sight of that. And secondly, if you think about the tapestry that is this great state, why do families stay here? Why do families come here? Why do businesses choose to stay here or to come here? A big piece of the puzzle, and there are a number of pieces, but the biggest is education and public education, and providing superior and accessible education from the earliest years right up through higher education. That informs an enormous amount of what we all do for a living in terms of making New Jersey the place that families either want to stay or come to, businesses want to stay here or come to. That's a big, big piece of the puzzle, and I can tell you, conversations like you're dropping your daughter off, why'd you move to X community in New Jersey? Why did you stay here? Because of the education system. The other piece, by the way, big one, is NJ Transit, not for today, but we will fix it if it kills me, and it might. So with that, any questions from our friends in the press, please? Obviously. Anybody have an on-topic question? Please, we'll come back to you, Nikita.
So there's been some concerns that community providers, contract districts, aren't seeing the same level of investment.
I think that relates to the $5 million that Senator Ruiz talked about. So if you look at the increase in pre-K, and Lamont, tell me if I get the math right, or Kerry, it's about $68 million. $20 million is for new districts. Those districts will find out today. There are 28 of them, and that money will be on the barrel ready to go on October 1st. You may ask, why didn't we do this sooner? Just given the fiscal year and the budget cycle, we physically can't do it sooner. $5 million will be spent, I was going to say capacity building, but more broadly to make sure that the money that is being spent in the districts is being spent the right way and we're getting the most return out of that. And then that leaves 43-ish million, which is more money into the districts that we're already expanding. On topic, please.
Kind of education. As you well know, the SDA has run out of funds for new projects to get going, and it's a matter of emptying the pipeline at this point. Do you support a major bond going out there, regardless whether it's SDA or EDA or whoever, to get the school construction program rolling again?
So when I get asked about bond offerings for clearly worthy causes, and SDA is a worthy cause, given its mission. It's an obvious point. In concept, yes, but at the same time, we inherited a number of big structural deficits, pension crisis, property tax crisis, and an outstanding indebtedness, which is among the highest in the country. So we have to take these case by case and be very careful when we make any decisions. We've been managing our debt, our outstanding debt, aggressively and I think professionally, including taking advantage of a low interest rate environment that we are in right now, which is historic. So I have mixed minds. Clearly the mission is a worthy one. There is no more worthy than to build schools in those districts. But having said that, we've got to manage our finances very, very carefully. Anybody else on topic in the press? On topic?
Kind of on topic, yeah.
Okay, we'll be the judge of that. I'll invite maybe both the commissioner and Senator Ruiz, who lives there, to come up and give you a comment on that.
Newark's transition plan is in full effect. They're doing a wonderful job. We're very pleased with the numbers, whether it's fiscal numbers. We're looking at also academic performance has increased. We have been working, meaning the state, working well with the legislators, and Senator Ruiz can come in and talk about the work that we've been doing together to ensure that Newark continues that trajectory.
So I haven't looked at all the academic numbers from last year, but just one point of reference, attendance, which is such a great factor in a child's outcomes in the school system. We saw Newark exponentially grow last year. There's huge buy-in from the community, and I think from the workforce, that they see this opportunity for an individual who is from the community, of the community, for the community, and who's an expert in his field. We had new programs this summer like kindergarten boot camp, which offered, up-and-coming kindergarten, rising kindergarten students. So you're seeing all these new programs grow, but I think that the most important thing, and to answer the question, yeah, we expect more. We expect the best. We are all considered partners in that. But academically, for me, and so I'm going to answer this question very personally, where we're at in the city of Newark is not where I want to be. I think that my families probably feel the same way. We should be secure that no matter what community our students live in, regardless as to what school they get picked in the universal enrollment to attend, that is as qualified and as equitable as every other school in the district. And until we get to that point, we have a lot of work to do.
Amen. Thank you both. You know, this is a good reminder that while our statewide rankings are among the best in the country, we were rated again recently as the #2 public school system in America, #1 in physics, #2 in chemistry. That's really important in the STEM fields. #1, I think this is a cool one, in foreign language participation, which says a lot about our diversity and our mindset. But the cautionary tale, as the Senator alluded to, is the dispersion around those rankings is far too wide and far too unacceptable. We'll go off here. Nikita.
So given the news that Arthur Bark is up for a job at a Camden authority and the recent happenings with Jeffrey Dye I'm just wondering if you feel satisfied with the vetting process in place in government, state and local.
So I have no insight other than I read the articles that you may have written or that at least others have written about Arthur Barkley. I was surprised. There is a involvement on something like that by the Department of Community Affairs. We're already in touch with that department. I think our view on that appointment should speak for itself. I'm personally not supportive, and we'll be discussing that with the DCA. Press? Yes, please.
Hurricane Dorian.
Yes.
Should it make a turn towards us or touch us in any way? What is the New Jersey ready?
Yep. So I'm proud, by the way, that our state troopers deployed a unit to Florida on Friday night with 4 hours notice. And that unit is now traveling north to South Carolina. And we should all be, as residents of the state, incredibly proud of the professionalism, the promptness, and the willingness to help anybody who asks. I was on the phone coming over here with the superintendent of the state police in the Office of Emergency Management. Ultimately reports up to him. We're taking this very seriously. It's too early to tell. Both the speed, which is incredibly slow, which makes it even more devastating where it's hitting, as well as the trajectory. Some of the models have it touching New Jersey sort of Friday, Saturday. In particular, Cape May and Atlantic counties look like the two that would be the most exposed. And we are, obviously monitoring this very carefully and beginning to put into place any of the pieces of the puzzle we're going to need to deal with that. So more on that as we get more information. David.
Governor, is the water situation in Newark a crisis, and under what circumstances do you think it's appropriate for the press to be barred from the public meeting?
I've got no comment on the latter other than to say, as I think you've lived it now with us, both on the campaign trail and transition and now in government, we're pretty much an open book. Even when we're on the road, we are on the margin are going to favor transparency and openness, and I'll let others speak for themselves. It is a challenge, that's for sure. I reiterate that we have found no reason to declare a state of emergency because a state of emergency implies that you've exhausted all levels of government support, whether that's Newark, Essex County, or the state, and that's not the case. We continue to provide bottled water for the folks who are served by the Pequannock Reservoir and that have lead service lines. And so that's somewhere in the mid-teen thousands, overwhelmingly residences. In particular, so it's drinking and cooking. It's not bathing. It's not laundry, but it's drinking and cooking. And in particular for pregnant women, women who are nursing, elderly, infants, we particularly shout that out. There is ongoing testing. We took the actions with Newark out of an abundance of caution, but remember that it was based on 3 data points, 3 filters in 3 different homes and 3 different wards in Newark. Each of them brought the lead levels down. That was good news. But 2 of them didn't bring it down far enough. So out of an abundance of caution, working with Mayor Baraka and his team, who I think have done an excellent job, we said, you know what, collectively, we're doing bottled water until we have more testing. There is more testing going on. I personally won't be comfortable making big decisions based on 3 data points, so I'm hoping that gets into the hundreds. and then we'll see where we go from there, whether or not any of the above. Those filters were right, they were wrong, they were faulty, it was just those homes or not, as the case may be, we don't know yet. I applaud the fact that Newark had already started, and it now looks like they'll be accelerating the replacement of the lead service lines, and we've been honored from day one to be meaningfully supportive of that effort. In the meantime, there's treatment, and that's been going on since 1997. It turns out the first type of treatment didn't work beginning in 2017. There's now a new treatment called orthophosphate, and that's something you flush through your lead lines so that it's a prophylactic that prevents lead from leaching into the water. That looks like the new treatment looks like early signs. It has the potential for success. So I would say everyone stay prudent, stay aware, don't panic. And my hope is that in the next couple of weeks we'll have enough testing back to be able to make much more informed long-term decisions. Yes, ma'am.
Going back to pre-K, how can parents find out if their district will be included in this extension?
Yep.
And how can they register?
So Lamont can help you. We're going live as we speak with the 28 districts, and where should folks go?
So the districts that were granted the expansion aid was this morning. We actually sent letters or emails out to them this morning. Those districts that were denied, we sent letters in the afternoon, a few minutes ago. So we're very excited. Hopefully parents can get that information from the district. We'll provide that information on our social media. I'm sure the governor will probably, his social media team will make
What's
the
your best
announcement as well.
website to go to here?
DOE.nj.gov is our website, but also follow us on social media from our Twitter and also the governor's social media as well. That information should be provided. However, districts will notify parents, trust me, as soon as possible once that information is hit and once they actually go through that information.
I want to thank Mayor Stack, Senator, thank you, Madam Principal, Commissioner, both members of the Assembly today, Annette and Raj, Carrie running this program, County Executive Tom DeGise, to all the educators, commissioners, members of the Board of Education, superintendents and deputy superintendents, to moms and dads, and to kids. Welcome back. It's back to school. Thank you all.
When you got time, I know you're a busy guy. You let me know whenever you're ready, absolutely. Sure.
You get one up here?
Sure. Tom, you want to come to the picture? Stand on this side, Tom.
I wonder, Dr.
Do you want the
Adriana?
Adriana?
Somebody
Annette,
good look.